All right, let's talk about something that's been buried in the annals of TV history, but absolutely deserves a spotlight: the secrets of ISIS. Now, if you're like me and you've spent way too much time diving into the weird and wonderful world of 70s television, this one's a gold mine. But here's the kicker. It's not just any forgotten show. It's the first superhero series to feature a female lead in live action. Let that sink in for a second. In the 1970s, when most shows were still figuring out how to write women beyond the housewife or the damsel in distress, ISIS was breaking ground. And yet, it's barely remembered today. Why? That's the question that's been nagging at me, and I think it's worth unpacking. First off, let's set the stage. Filmation, the studio behind this show, was no small player. They were the brains behind He-Man, Fat Albert, and even the Star Trek animated series. These guys were prolific, and they knew how to churn out content. But in 1975, they decided to take a leap into live action with The Secrets of ISIS. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The show wasn't based on a comic book or a literary character. It was original. Well, sort of. If you squint, you can see the influence of Wonder Woman, who was about to hit the small screen herself. But ISIS came first. And personally, I think that a big deal. It's like she was the test run for what a female superhero could be on TV. What many people don't realize is that this show was part of a larger cultural shift, a moment when TV was starting to experiment with stronger female characters, like the Bionic Woman. But ISIS was the pioneer. Now, let's talk about the premise, because it's equal parts bizarre and brilliant. Andrea Thomas, a high school science teacher, discovers she's a descendant of Queen Hatshepsut and stumbles upon a magical amulet that gives her powers. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's basically the superhero origin story playbook. But here's the twist. To activate her powers, she has to chant poetry. Like actual poetry. "Oh, zephyr winds, which blow on high, lift me now so I can fly." Honestly, I love this detail. It's so over the top, so 70s, and yet it adds this weird, almost mystical layer to the character. It's not just about punching bad guys, it's about invoking the elements, summoning the winds, channeling something greater. What this really suggests is that the show was trying to do something more than just entertain kids. It was reaching for something almost spiritual, which is wild for a Saturday morning show. But here's where it gets a little underwhelming. Despite having godlike powers, flying, controlling the weather, even time travel, ISIS mostly uses them to help her students. Like, she's got the power to reshape reality, and she's using it to stop bullies and solve petty high school drama. Personally, I think this is where the show missed the mark. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a character with the potential to be a global hero, but she's stuck in small-town problems. It's like giving someone a Ferrari and only letting them drive it to the grocery store. What makes this really interesting, though, is that it reflects the limitations of the time. TV wasn't ready for a female superhero to save the world. She had to stay relatable, grounded, safe. And that's a commentary on the industry as much as it is on the show. Now, let's talk about the legacy, because this is where things get really fascinating. The Secrets of ISIS only ran for 22 episodes, but it had crossovers with Shazam, which led to DC Comics folding ISIS into their universe. But here's the thing. The comic book version of ISIS is nothing like the TV character. Her name's different, her backstory's different. It's like they took the concept and ran in a completely new direction. From my perspective, this is a missed opportunity. The TV version of ISIS had this unique blend of camp and sincerity that could have been expanded on. Instead, she became just another footnote in the DC universe. And then there's the Mego action figure, which is now a collector's item. I mean, who wouldn't want a doll of a poetry-chanting superhero? But it's more than just nostalgia. It's a reminder that this show left a mark, even if it was fleeting. So what's the takeaway here? In my opinion, The Secrets of ISIS is a time capsule of what could have been. It's a show that tried to do something bold, but was constrained by the expectations of its time. It's a reminder that progress is often messy, incremental, and sometimes forgotten. But it's also a celebration of a character who, for a brief moment, showed us what a female superhero could look like. And honestly, that's worth remembering. So, the next time you're scrolling through streaming services and can't find anything to watch, maybe give ISIS a chance. Or, just appreciate the fact that she paved the way for the Wonder Women and Captain Marvels of today. What this really suggests is that every revolution starts somewhere, even if it's with a high school teacher chanting poetry to the wind.